Hello friends, hope you are doing great at your place. You are safe, healthy and strong. Today we are going to talk about the new redesigned 1003. New redesigned 1003 is being implemented from the March 1st, 2021, right? So what is the difference between the new 1003 and the old 1003 which is being eliminated from the 1st of March 2021, and what will happen to the old application those have been signed before March, or those have been signed till 28th of the February, right? We are going to discuss all about and how the new 1003, which is totally almost redesigned, and what are all changes because of this new redesigned 1003 are going to take place in DU, LP or other AUS, right? We are going to discuss everything in detail, line by line, so that we can easily understand that what is the changes that have been occurred in the new 1003 and where we need to focus, what information we need to find at what place in the new 1003. Like when we go to the previous or the old 1003, we had only one form, and that one form was Uniform Residential Loan Application or form number 1003, right? That is how we know. It has only 4 pages, and then if additional pages were required, then those were being added to that. Otherwise, mostly 4 pages plus demographic detail, or those couple of more pages, those were being added to, right? Other than that, in those 4 pages there were 10 sections of different information, like community. The first, it was starting with the community state information, then we were heading towards the section 1, type of mortgage and loan terms, property information and purpose of loan, borrower information and co-borrower information, if you remember. Then section number 4 was employment information. Then it was moving towards the section number 5, monthly income and combined housing expenses, remember. Then asset and liabilities, total detail of transactions, DOT section. Then declarations, acknowledgement and agreement and info for the government monitoring purpose. Those were all the information or different sections, and all the information related to these sections were disclosed section by section in one form, and that was old 1003. But what is the difference that is taking place now? When we come to the redesigned 1003, there are in almost 5 different documents that will be clubbed or that will be considered as a new 1003. Let's see. So first form will be borrower information, right? The second form, lender loan information. The third is additional borrower. Number 4 is unmarried addendum and the continuation sheet. Now, what is the challenge that I could see in these new redesigned 1003, or people who are used to review the old previous format or old previous form? What the challenge they will be looking, or they will be finding, that all this information is important one. It could not be eliminated from the 1003. But the new 1003, since it has been redesigned, now it has different forms. Whatever the forms applicable, that will be the part of 1003. Otherwise, all of the forms, like if we have only one borrower, right, then additional borrower form need not to be included, right? So when it comes to the importance, borrower information and lender loan information are the 2 pages that, these are the 2 forms which will be available in each loan. Other forms, additional borrower, unmarried addendum, continuation sheet, will only be applied if required. If there are additional borrower information will be added. If there are borrower has declared himself or herself as unmarried, they will be adding unmarried addendum. And if there will be more information that need to be disclosed, they are going to add in the continuation sheet. So these are the different 5 forms that will be consisting all the information now that previously was consisted in the one form, right? So these are the different forms, and they will apply according to the scenario, according to the information if needed to be disclosed. Okay, now other than that, what is the difference between the previous? Like all this information was coming section by section. Now what is happening in the new 1003? Form itself has been segregated, has been separated. So lender information, whatever the information that was needed to be disclosed in the previous 1003 by the lender, that has a different form given. Now all the lender information will be appearing in the lender loan information. I mean, lender need not to update anything in the borrower information. This could be confirmed, this will be updated, this will be filled by the borrower, and because all this information has been segregated, like whatever the lender information that lender only can disclose, borrower does not know what to be filled. So to make it, to simplify the new form, all these forms have been we could say has been separated. All the information has been separated into the different forms instead of the different sections, right? So when it comes to whenever borrower need to fill only the borrower information. Now the lender information will be filled in by lender on the lender loan information. So these are two different forms. Now additional borrower. So previously we could see there were two different sections. In one section there were two parts. One was for borrower, one was for co-borrower. Now borrower is going to fill up all the information in the first form and going to write about the information, who else or how many additional borrower there are in the loan. Only the name of additional borrowers in the first form, whereas additional borrower are going to fill their information in the additional borrower form. So that is the difference. So let's see, if we have only one borrower, obviously the additional borrower information or form will not be included in the file, right? So that is more convenient now. Now the unmarried addendum, previously whenever borrower was checking that unmarried borrower, right? So now unmarried addendum has been implemented, and now this in each loan, whenever borrower are going to check mark on the unmarried status, they also need to fill up unmarried addendums. Now the challenge is what I was telling you initially, that all this information has been still available in these forms, but those have taken place in different sections in different forms. So like community state information is also still there, but has changed their place or changed the form, right? Then the section type and mortgage and loan terms, all this information was related to, most of this information was related to lender. So it has gone to lender, right? Property information and purpose of loan, this has been gone to again lender information, right? Or I mean employment, monthly income, all this, like when we see in the previous 1003, monthly income and housing expense were on the same section, right? That was section number 5. But now monthly income related to borrower goes to borrower information, whereas the combined housing expense, those goes to lender loan information. So we need to see how those forms looks, what all this information need to be find out in what forms. So and we are also going to discuss, because new 1003 is also going to change the DU as well as the LP, and so whenever we will be having a new 1003 that we need to review, we will see that new DU, or whenever we are going to run the AUS, new AUS or AUS will also be slightly changed according to all this information. Obviously if the 1003 is changing, the AUS also need to be changed, right? So that all the changes have been already done. We will start receiving new findings according to the new 1003. But now the question is, what will be happening to the previous 1003 and how we are going to tackle with previous, if we receive a loan that was locked or that was applied prior to February 28, right? Those must have been locked or signed in the previous 1003. So they will also be coming to our in our system. So whenever we will be having a old application, we will obviously be submitting those according to the previous 1003, and whatever the AUS findings will be coming to us, that will keep coming to us in the old format. Whenever we are receiving, we will be having a new file. Obviously the LOS is going to detect accordingly, and they are going to give us new screen for new 1003, and that is going to happen. Now the old 1003, how long we can accept? We are not going to accept the old 1003 if that has been signed after 28th February. But if whatever the old 1003, they have been signed prior to March 1st, they will still be coming to us. Those files could be closed, and those could be closed till the 28th of Feb 2022. So this is the last date. After 28th Feb 2022, old 1003 will be completely eliminated. Even the loan which has been logged or which has been signed before 28th February 2021, even those could not be closed in the old format. Those need to be moved to the next new format according to the redesigned 1003, right? So now let's see, let's open these forms and see where all this information, how that looks like, what is the new information, and how everything is working out. Okay, so let's open the 1003, new 1003. This was the previous 1003 uniform residential. This 1003 was starting with the community property state, and borrower was signing. Then the borrower, I mean whether they are filing for joint credit or individually. Then it was starting. The first section was about the type of mortgage and terms of loan. Second section was property information and purpose of loan. All this information was related to property and purpose of information. Then borrower information starting at the point number 3. But when it comes to the new 1003, new 1003 has been segregated in different forms. Previously we were receiving only one application that has 4 pages, right? And additional pages were implemented or being added whenever there was more information. 4 pages mostly, plus demographic detail, right? But now the new 1003, that is the redesigned in a way, or it has been separated in different forms. So the first form or one form is related to borrower information only. In this form, borrower is only going to disclose his personal or her personal information, as well as income, employment, and whether other sources of employment like retirement, or whatever they are considering for to qualify for the loan. So that is the only information they are going to disclose in this form. They will not be telling us what loan type is, what type of loan. It will only be related to borrower information. Borrower information, what is their assets, what are their incomes, and then they are going to disclose about their declarations, whether they had any they had any foreclosure, bankruptcies in the loan, or how is their liability section, their asset section. That is all about the borrower information. And now another form that is being implemented, or that is the lender loan information. Now here we are going to see about the property and loan information, whereas in the previous 1003, you remember, it was starting with the loan, mortgage and terms of loan, and property of information and purpose of loan. Remember, the first two things, these have been now separated, and now it could be located in the lender information form. So property and loan information now is being moved to the different form, and that is lender loan information form. Here lender, borrower need not to do anything with this form, but lender, or when I say lender, means loan originator or loan officer, they are going to uh, update everything. So all this information, community property state, transaction detail, refinance type, no cash out, refinance, borrower need not to worry about all this information. This is now the responsibility of lender, or say loan officer. They are going to update this information, right? And then title information, how the title, how then the mortgage loan information. That was the very first section in the previous 1003. right? In the old 1003, conventional USD, FHA, then terms of the loan, mortgage amount, this all has been given to the lender's responsibility. Now it's lender responsibility, right? How they are going to fill this information, right? Due from borrower, sales contract, improvements, renovations, so qualifying the borrower, minimum required funds to, so this is the cash to close information, detail of transaction, remember. So the, when I say the old previous format, right, and now the new format, whatever need to be about the loan or about the upcoming information of application or about the loan, that is now the lender's responsibility, and lender is going to fill all that information, and it is very detailed now. It is not like the previous one, right? Because in the previous format we don't had so much of information or space to fill all the information and to just get more clarity, more clear information. Now these different forms have been implemented, and now they have been segregated, who is going to update what. So when we are saying borrower information, borrower has only these forms and this information that is relevant, that is related to borrower only, that borrower is going to file or borrower is going to update. Now we have a different form, that is lender loan information, and that will be updated by the lender. So let's go to the previous one and see the details of transaction, dot section. All this information borrower doesn't know what is going to happen, what need to be fill out, so this has been again given to the lenders. So the one, detail of transactions, then the second is you know uh, housing expense, and the column one or the section one, type of mortgage and property information. These four section, right, those have been moved to the lender information. Now here lender is according to the new form, lender is responsible to fill out all this information, right? So lender loan information, right, this will be updated by lender or in the lender form. Community property state, at least one borrower, the property loan information, travel transactions, refinance, cash out, no cash out, limited cash out, or refinance programs, full documentation, streamlined. Previously, this was not as detailed. Now even here we will get to know, okay, what type of, whether it's a streamlined loan, it's an interest rate only, early, if you have heard, right, or it's a full documentations, right? So radio buttons are there, we are going to, then now the new energy improvement we used to see now in many cases now, or you must have seen this information is being shared now in the application as well. Previously energy improvement or energy efficiency was not a part of the 1003, right? Then the transaction detail, conversion, renovation by borrower is what type of single closing, two closing, we can discuss all this later, but as of now I'm just showing you what different forms and what different information that has been included. But if you come across any question, you can still ask. And then mortgage loan information, that was the very first section of 1003, that is now could be located in the loan information or this lender loan information form. So this is a separate form, and then the due from the borrower. So these are the minimum required funds to cash to close. So DOT section, if you remember, cash from or cash to borrower is going to appear in this line, right? So DOT section, minimum required funds to cash to close, and then the terms of loan wrote first proposed monthly payment for the, you remember, housing payment that were appearing in previously with the income section, now has been moved to this form, and here we could see the proposed monthly payment, right? And trust what type of loans it going to be. So first mortgage and subordinate lien, homeowner insurance supplement, right? No trade loan type first. This is how into the lender's loan information, whereas in the borrower information, it is going to be borrower personal information first, name,
Then alternative name, if they have all those of additional names they known as, that need to be written here. Then their social security number, date of birth, and now US citizenship. This information, citizenship, previously was appearing or was a part of the declaration section, but now borrower is going to give it on the very first page. Then in his personal information, now type of credit, like what type, jointly they going to apply for the joint credit or individual. If it is individual, they are just going to check mark or going to select the first radio button. Other, if they are selecting the second, then means there are co-borrower as well. So co-borrower, they are going to each borrower, they are going to put their initials here and their name need to be written in this form. In the previous form, there was separate two columns, one for borrower and co-borrower. Both were providing their information. But now, when it comes to if there will be more borrowers in this, if it's for the joint credit, they just need to write how many borrowers are there and what are their names. So number one, maybe co-borrower, and there is only one borrower, additional borrower in this loan. This borrower name will be written here, and now there is another form that has been implemented, and that is additional borrower. Here this is the additional borrower, right? And they are, whenever they will be, there will be signature. So like this form is only solely given for the borrower only. This form will contain only the borrower information, not the co-borrower. Co-borrower name will be written here, and they need to file their own form. I mean, they have given their own space. Okay, here you update all your information, right? So whenever we will have additional borrower, they will be filing, they will be updating or providing their information to us only here loan. So that information will only be considered in this form. Again, co-borrower first name, and if they have also known as name and their social security, first name, their US citizens, and again whatever the name will be written here, those will be the additional borrower or additional borrowers form will be, should be there, right? So marital status, again very easy, dependents number and then their contact numbers, and current address, if they have current address, obviously they will have current address, so their current, they are going to disclose their current address here, right? And all this information, we will come to this form later. Let's go back to our main form, borrowers. Okay, so now if there is any name written, that obviously we will have those number of additional borrowers form with us. Then the marital status, married, separated, unmarried. If married, fine, separated, fine. But if they have checked the unmarried, then there will be one more form that need to be provided, and that is known as unmarried addendum. So now new form, if anyone is going to select the unmarried, previously in the previous form they were just giving us the information that okay, borrower is unmarried. Unmarried, this was the information, right? Unmarried, if borrower is unmarried, they were just checking this box and then they were good. Now we had to make out whether they are single, divorced, or widowed. But now in the new form, if they are unmarried, they could be any of them: single, divorced, widowed, civil, domestic partners, registered, reciprocal beneficiary relationship, right? This could be the different, they could be any of them, right? But now they also need to give us a unmarried addendum. This form also need to be filled out by the borrower if they are unmarried. I'm not taking a deep dive in this form. We could do that later. But as of now, there is one additional form that they always need to file. They always need to provide us or will be a part of 1003. That is unmarried addendum. Whenever borrower are going to tell us that they are unmarried, they need to file, they need to update this form and need to provide us. If you selected unmarried in section 1, is there a person who is not your legal spouse but who currently has real property rights similar to those of a legal spouse? Yes, no. If no, good. If yes, then they need to provide more information. If yes, indicate the type of relationship and the state in which the relationship was formed. For example, indicate if you are in a civil union, domestic partnership, registered reciprocal beneficiary relationship, or other relationship recognized by the state in which you currently reside or where the property is located. So it could be civil, domestic. They just need to tell us. They can check any of the, whatever the applicable, they can check that kind of uh, radio button, and that is how we will get to know. And they also give need to give us the state, where which state they are currently living, or what state they have that relationships, or if is there any other kind of relationship, they need to give us that information. That is the only form. It's a limited information, but this unmarried addendum always will be a part of whenever borrower are going to select this unmarried radio button. Are we good with till now? So okay, how many forms we have discussed so far? One is the borrower information, the second is the lender loan information, third is the additional borrower, and fourth is now the unmarried addendum. So four, I mean, however, the two forms are always going to be there. The first is borrower information form. This form will all is the initial requirement. Then the initial requirement is also the lender loan information. These two forms are the minimum requirement whenever we have an individual borrower, right? And he is married, he is not an unmarried, then we could have only these two forms. One is the lender loan information and borrower loan information. Additional forms will be the part of 1003. Whenever borrower have the additional, they are applying for joint credit, then obviously they will have co-borrowers, additional borrowers with them, and if they are unmarried. So more forms will be the part of 1003 now, right? In on whenever borrower is unmarried and they are applying for joint credit, then we will have minimum four different forms in the file, or will be the part of 1003. Borrower information, lender information, then because they are filing jointly, so additional borrowers form, and then if they are unmarried, so unmarried addendum. So in that case, minimum four forms will be the part of 1003. That is how the 1003 is going to be completed, right? And if there is more information that need to be disclosed, like if borrower has more information, or like say if somebody has more income sources. So one income source they written here, another they written here, they written here, and now they need more, right? So if they need more, then they can use the continuation sheet, uniform residential in loan application continuation sheet. So whatever the information they want to write here, they can provide. Let's say if someone has 10 investment properties and they don't have so much of space, right, to add that in the first form, so they can use these continuation sheet as many as they want, and they can disclose their information there. Are we good till this?
Yes, sir.
Great. I hope that I was able to make you understand that what is the difference between the new 1003 and the old 1003, right? There is a lot of other information or more information that has been added to these forms, like how long current address, 3 years, 6 months, let's see, and housing, no primary housing expense. So maybe someone is living in the current address for 3 years, right? 3 years, but they don't have any primary housing expense. When that happens, whenever somebody is living with their parents, remember previously we were telling that borrower was telling that they are not living in their owned house, but they don't have any primary housing expense. So now that has been, option has been added here. Okay, if somebody is living without any expense on the current primary residence for 3 years, then that is fine. They just need to click on the no primary housing expense. We will make out how why they don't have any primary housing expense. But if they are owning the primary, they are going to check. If they are living on rent. Now the best thing, rent, they also need to tell us the rent here only. Previously we had to go in the previous format, if you remember. If here they were checking rent, they were just checking the rent, but they were not telling us how much rent, and we had to go to here in the present section. Here they were disclosing, okay, this is what my rent, right? But in the new form that is there here, if they are living in rent, tell us what is the rent. Now if current address for less than 2 years, obviously they are going to tell us in the similar way, years, how many years they are living. And again, if they need more space, I mean they are living here for only for 1 year and 6 months, for there they need more space, they can use the continuation sheet, this sheet, and they are going to tell us how long they are living in the other homes. Then mailing address, if does not apply, they can simply, if apply, they need to write the mailing address here. Then current employment address. So borrower personal information till this point, and now they are starting with the current employment, self-employment and income. If does not apply, sometimes there is a possibility that borrower is not earning, but the additional borrowers are earning. Or if does not apply, maybe they are not employed, they can check mark does not apply box. Okay, otherwise employer or business name. Then street, city, phone number, unit, count, country, that is great. All the information, position held for. So if someone is working as a manager or the owner, they can write owner. Start date, when they started this job or this business, that need to be written here. For self-employed, if somebody is a self-employed, they are going to check mark this box. We will see later what is the meaning of these and how this going to be. Now gross monthly income, previously we saw in the previous it has a separate section, but now it is only the part of their employment information. So base, overtime, bonus, commission, military and other, and total income is going to be reflect here. Now, if applicable, complete information for the additional. So if someone has additional, means somebody is working in two jobs. In the previous, we don't had, if someone is working as a self-employed, we don't had any different, space for them to show their income. But now if someone is self-employed, they can tell, okay, this is what my monthly income or loss from this business, right? So previously we had to disclose their income only in these column. However, it could also be disclosed in this column as now, but they have a separate space as well. So they can write, okay, someone is working as a wage earner, as well as they have a business where they have more than 25% of stake. They can write that business income here also. Now if applicable, complete information for previous employment. So this is about the previous employment, similar to what, so there now they are going to give us all this, when they started the previous, when they ended. So it has more information for us. Previous gross monthly income, that is again a good information for us. So it is going to help us then and there on the 1003 only. Now income from other sources, if somebody has income from wage earner, they have self-employed income, they can give us all this, that information in these column. But whenever they have different information, we could see what different information. Now see how convenient this is, right? For the borrower especially, whenever somebody is going to file this information, they can write public assistance, right? Or they might can select the element. If somebody has the housing or interest dividends, they can select easily these incomes as well, right? So, and then if needed more, they can go to the continuation sheet for all that information. Okay, so these are the different income sources that could be disclosed here, right? More convenient for borrower as well as for the processor, underwriters, or anyone who is going to review these files. It's more convenient for everyone. The section 2 financial information, asset and liabilities, are more convenient now. This section asks about the things you own, are worth money, and that you won't consider to qualify for this loan. If then ask about your liabilities that you pay each month, such as credit cards, alimony, and other expenses. So best thing is that all type of what what could be like asset, they are first disclosing. The borrower is going to disclose asset from bank statements, retirement, and other accounts, and they have the convenience of selecting everything. They do not need to write down everything. They can easily select what type of mm, uh, account they have, like money market. They can write the which bank they are going to, and they have also the hint or the information already given written on the what type of accounts they can use for these purpose. And then they have the list to select from the whatever they want to write, and then they just need to give account number and financial institution name. Like money market could be with the ICIC, right? Or individual development account could be with the VOA. So wherever they have, and then account number 001 and maybe 45678. So this is account number and cash value, whatever in their market, in their bank statement, they can write it here. It's more convenient now. Then liabilities. Now it's starting from the liabilities. So credit cards, other debts and lease, all the information need to be written here. Now previously we don't had this kind of information. If you remember, we were just going to the column by column. Like here we were just adding, borrower were just adding their information on the right side, liabilities, account number. So that was more manual work, but now it has been automated. So even the form itself has the list to select things, and to whether it's installment, lease, open 30 days, revolving, or other, right? So it's great help to the borrowers as well as to the underwriters or any other processors. Company name, account name, unpaid principal to be paid off at, yes, they can mark it yes, no, whether it's they want to paid off or not, and whatever the monthly payment. So great, right? It's a great help to everyone to understand it easily, what they need to fill in or what we need to check in. Great. Okay. Then other liabilities could be alimony, child support, separate maintenance, job related expense, and others. Hopefully, you know each one of them. If you do not know, we can discuss that later as well. Okay. And then we just need to, or borrower just need to select what type of, other liabilities they have and the monthly income. So it's a great help for them, what need to fill at what station, at what section or what form or what page number. Now the section number 3, financial information, real estate. We all know that this is the REO section, right? If you are refinancing, list the property you are refinancing the first. So first of all, they seeing and borrower will be updating the current subject property. It is a great help. Previously we were not knowing what is the loan, we had to go to credit report, but now REO section itself is going to tell us what type of income, previous loan existing, whether that was FHA, VA, or any other credit limit. If that is going to be HELOC, then it is going to also show us the credit limit. Okay, now the 3B, if applicable, complete the information. If they have more properties, they could be written here. Similar information, all the information now in the section wise or the line wise, they are going to tell us, and we will get a lot of, or mostly most of the information. 3C, if applicable, complete the additional property. And then Section 4. So three property could be disclosed in this form, and then after, if someone has more than three properties that need to be disclosed in real estate owned, they need to disclose it in the additional sheets, or yep, additional continuation sheet. Okay. The 4 type, loan and property information. Now this is the loan and property information. loan amount, whatever the loan amount that borrower is going to apply, whether it's a purchase, refinance. Now previously, if you remember, we had this property information or loan information and loan amount, and we had purchase, refinance, construction, and construction to permanent. Now they have given us whether we are going to purchase or refinance, and if it's going to be not refinance or purchase but other, that could be construction to permanent, or any other, need to be written here. Now what is the subject property address that is going to appear here? Now it is moved to the third page of the 1003 or borrower information. Mixed use of property, how the occupancy going to be second home, investment, or primary residence, right? And FHA secondary residence. Do you know what is FHA secondary residence? Okay, FHA loan could be taken only on one property, mostly on the primary residence. But if somebody is going to buy a property for their children or for any, for their dependents, in that case, they are allowed to take another FHA loan for that property. So for the secondary home. Then the fourth be other new mortgage loans on the property you are buying or refinance. Income on the property you want to purchase. If somebody is purchasing a property and they also use to, they want to use for the rental income from the purchase, then that information need to be written, that gift or grants you have been given or will receive for this loan. So then the declaration section, everyone knows these declarations in the previous form, remember. Then the acknowledgement agreement, here borrower are going to sign the application, like, so borrower and additional borrowers both are going to sign this application. Like, even we have the additional page for additional borrower, but they also need to sign this application as well, right? Okay. And then military service, number 7, if someone is the military service, they are also going to give us the information in this form only, but this was not in the previous form, if you remember. Then demographic information, that was the additional pages that were coming for the last couple of years with 1003, now is being a part of the borrower information in here. And how borrower loan officer collected all this information, that also need to be, that is also part of this form only. The demographic information was provided, how they provided, whether face to face, telephonic, or fax and mail. Then there is a section 9. So loan originator information to be completed to the, here the loan originator or loan officer or lender information is going to appear in this form, and that will also be signed and dated by the loan officer. And that's end of the borrower information page. That is all about the new 1003. I hope that I was able to give you a good glance on the new 1003 and difference between new and old 1003. But if you still come across any questions, please let me know and we can discuss together. However, maybe in the next session or in the following any of the session, we will discuss any information that has been disclosed in the new 1003. I will definitely go through that information and going to share it.